Good afternoon on today's Angry Bulletin. The claims of UFO whistleblower David Grusch have still been lacking one very important thing: hard evidence. So without hard evidence, how can any of us take him all that seriously? Well, just recently, the U.S. Congress, which does have access to the hard evidence that David Grusch turned over, have now introduced a bill to force the military to turn over any and all materials in regards to crashed UFOs. Why would they do this if there was no evidence? And meanwhile, in the South Pacific, the expedition headed up by Avi Loeb and the Galileo Project have uncovered solid evidence that there are materials on the bottom of the ocean that correspond with something that came from outer space, something that came from an interstellar destination. Problem is, it doesn't correspond to any materials that would come from a meteor, at least no meteor that has ever landed on our planet before. All of this and more coming to you on the Angry Astronaut right now. Good afternoon, and once again, welcome to the Angry Astronaut. First of all, just want to thank everybody for your support in keeping this channel running, especially in regards to my upcoming move to Europe. If you are interested in supporting all of these endeavors, you can find all of that in the description. And once again, thanks so much. And even if you can't contribute, and I certainly understand why, it's not your responsibility, please like and please subscribe to this channel, and also please share these videos wherever possible. Okay, on to today's topic at hand. First of all, the debate continues to rage about the UFO whistleblower. What exactly is going on here? Has he produced any information at all, any evidence to back up his claims? Well, no. Up to this point, all we have is his word that he has gathered information from contacts who have worked on these sorts of projects, and that's about it. Under most circumstances, I really wouldn't take something like this seriously. For those of you who have watched my channel for a long time, I am disinclined to believe in conspiracies. I don't believe that there is a conspiracy to cover up the possibility that we discovered life on Mars. I don't believe that there's a conspiracy to cover up UFOs, or at least I didn't believe it until Congress reacted in a very strange manner to these new revelations, an official manner that may change everything. First of all, it's important to note that according to David Grusch, there is actual evidence to back up what he's saying. It's only that that evidence has been turned over to Congress and people who have been authorized to look at it by the Pentagon. In addition, although the Pentagon has denied that these sorts of programs exist, they were very careful in terms of their wording. They made it very clear that the AARO, that is to say, the organization that investigates UAPs, has no verifiable information to confirm that any clandestine organization reverse engineering UFOs within the military exists. That is to say, they have no verifiable information in that particular department. They didn't deny that such an organization or such a project may exist in the military as a rule. That is a very important distinction. Why not just issue a categorical blanket denial of the whole damn thing, as opposed to being very, very specific as to who was denying it? It's also important to note that at a time when Congress is trying to freeze funding for just about any government project imaginable, unless it's involved with the military, that includes NASA, Artemis, returning to the moon, everything is pretty much being frozen right now, but funding for the UAP office received bipartisan support and secured the necessary funding to continue operations. Quote, fully funding AARO is essential to our national security. The office provides the opportunity to integrate and resolve threats and hazards to the U.S. while also offering increased transparency to the American people and reducing the stigma around this issue of high public interest, unquote. That's according to Senator Gillibrand on the Armed Services Committee. But it gets way more interesting than that. According to a recent amendment added on to the federal budget for next year, the Senate is now directing any contractors who have had any involvement with UFO reverse engineering projects to turn over any and all materials that they may possess in regards to such projects not later than 180 days from now. And let me go ahead and read the bill to you. Quote, any person currently or formerly under contract with the federal government that has in their possession material or information provided by or derived from federal government related to unidentified anomalous phenomena that formerly or currently is protected by any form of special access or restricted access shall, number 1, not later than 60 days after the date of the enactment of this act, notify the director of such possession, and number 2, not later than 180 days after the date of the enactment of this act, make available to the director, and by the way, the director is Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, who heads up AARO, the guy we've been seeing in front of Congress a lot lately, for assessment, analysis, and inspection of a comprehensive list of all non-Earth origin or exotic unidentified anomalous phenomena material, plus any aerospace craft that uses propulsion technology other than chemical propellants, solar power, or electric ion thrust, and the development of propulsion technology or aerospace craft that uses propulsion technology, systems, or subsystems that is based on or derived from or inspired by inspection, analysis, or reverse engineering of recovered unidentified anomalous phenomena craft or materials. Why the hell would Congress pass a bill this specific, demanding that contractors who have worked with the military in the past turn over anything, and they were very particular about what they should be turning over that they may have found in regards to crashed UAPs or the investigation of UAPs? All of this is extremely interesting and totally unprecedented. Congress has never introduced a bill like this in the past, and if we hear anything, we should be hearing it within the next 60 to 180 days. Unless, of course, it's completely classified and AARO is able to keep it to themselves, but nevertheless, we should at least get some chatter about things happening within the next 6 months, and that's something I never thought I would hear myself saying in the past. But in the meantime, let's move on to the activities off the coast of New Guinea with the Galileo Project and Avi Loeb. As you may know, or if you've been watching my previous videos about this topic, and I have them linked at the end of this video, the Galileo Project has been using a magnetic sledge to dredge the sea floor off the coast of New Guinea, where an interstellar meteor is suspected to have crashed in 2014. A meteor that, according to its trajectory and the amount of distance it was able to cover before breaking up in our atmosphere, may be made out of materials far more resilient and different than any meteor that's been detected in the past. But for a considerable period of time, although flat pieces of steel were found scattered over the area, along with a strange wire that was comprised of a mixture of magnesium and titanium, no evidence of any meteor were ever uncovered. Until now. At the time of this recording, 38 so-called spherules have been found, tiny metallic spheres that correspond to the types of debris we usually find as a remnant from an exploding meteorite. Now, these things are incredibly small. Out of the 38 collected, they amass to a total of 25 milligrams between all of them. Very small indeed, but once again, they definitely correspond to the types of things we would expect to find in the aftermath of a meteorite airburst. That being the case, though, their composition does not correspond to any meteor we have ever found in the past. Yes, there's iron, the sort of material we would definitely expect, but no nickel whatsoever in any of the samples, and that is completely inconsistent with any meteor we have ever found. Does that mean that entirely different types of meteors may form in other solar systems? Are they subject to a different sort of formation process, or does something change about interstellar meteors when they're subjected to the rigors of interstellar space? Or, more interestingly, could it be that somebody removed the nickel from an iron alloy in order to make it stronger the same way we do? Even more interesting is the fact that some of these samples contain elements of either titanium, magnesium, or in some cases, iridium, which again screams technological origin. But once again, we can't be certain. Thus far, we still don't have enough information to make any sort of definitive conclusions, but one thing is certain: these are the sorts of things we would expect to find in the aftermath of a meteor explosion, and they fall along the expected debris path of the object that hit us in 2014. But we have only scratched the surface. Only tiny remnants of this object have been discovered thus far. The core of this object may still have survived. As I mentioned in my previous video, it's very possible that only the outer layers broke off. And in a follow-up expedition, the Galileo project intends to introduce a sonar package to find anything that may be sitting on the seafloor. Very exciting discoveries await off the coast of New Guinea. Smash that like, hit that subscribe. Please also check the description for various ways to support this content, and as always, stay angry about space.